Saket talking about relationships and startups. So he's a good storyteller. I think he is the right person to take you through that. So Saket.
The story I'm going to tell you first, and then since it is a time-limited presentation, this is something related to I. I in the sense all of you sitting here, that comes first. It says, he told in one of the audience, which I remember still 20 years ago, there are three difficult things to do for any person. One, to climb a wall that is leaning towards him, or to kiss, not a lady, but a young child who is going away from him. And the third, to speak after so many distinguished people have already spoken. So my presentation consciously, I told Nanji that I do it as the fourth one, so that there's some relevance built in the program. Because time limit is something I'm always careful of. We came prepared for that. Mukun said something, and again we had Akash coming in between this. Subsequently Kamal told about IIM, about its objectives, and subsequently we had Anand Padmanabhan also speaking about relationships. So, how many of you believe that parents are the most closest? All of us? Yeah? Family? Really family? Who's still the most closest to you? Yeah? No, parents covers that, right? The closest. Dog, yes. It's a family actually. Dog, yes, important. Friends also? Yes. Just came in. The one which we know has already been spoken. I'll come to that I. This is something we all know. All of us. Would-be entrepreneurs, failed entrepreneurs, successful entrepreneurs, or entrepreneurs making the journey, or somebody who's wanting to step into that journey called entrepreneurship. I don't call it a startup. You start and you run. What happens next is the most important. So this is the big environment in which we all operate, wherein we know each and everything that we know. Because there's a media, there's Twitter, there's Facebook, you name it, all sort of things, including Instagram. High visibility. All of us know what we are speaking of in terms of the relationship. All of us, when we want to start something, we're very clear about our relationship with all these things, with all these people. We go out of the way to make our relationships flourish or try to influence people, as Anand rightly pointed out, to build relationships with people, nurture them, go ahead with them, start with. But the most important thing, and the closest thing that each one of us have to look into is me and my shadow. My shadow, from the psychological terms, has got a different meaning altogether, and the shadow is always with us. It's got both positive as well as negative connotations, and the journey the shadow makes with us is the one that makes us to complete the journey, learn, experience, experiment, fall, get up, steady myself, redo things, etc., 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 which is the most important thing for any startup. The critical thing is, do I know who that shadow is? Is it who that shadow is? Is it my shadow, which is the dark shadow? Or is it the positive shadow that I carry? Or is it just the physical shadow where I go, where there is a light on me? So I will not speak much, and I wish to take you all through building the relationship. Because when you think that we are starting the entire thing, I'll just run through the slides silently. I want each one of you to read this because it is self-explanatory. Anything else we'll take in the Q&A sessions. We think we are unique. And the shadow that is there includes others who see us. While we are wanting to hide our personality, there is a great deal that we are actually projecting about our personality. Right? We all know that we do a lot of good things, bad things, and worse things. Our shadow knows everything that is inside. So, who's here? Dark side, and what are the demons that you're dealing currently before you become an entrepreneur and build a relationship with your own self? Critical component. You have to build relationship with your own self first to understand when there is a lot of power, authority, and the ability to take decisions. First, are you at peace? This is what you say every time. Whether you are in touch with ENF, I call it, your emotions and feelings, because organization consists of people, and when you want to build organization, the critical factor is people, especially when you start something new. You need to put right kind of people all over with you. They are the people who achieve a lot of things for you. Right now it was pointed out in the earlier presentations as well, the right kind of team by the people who invest money in, or what Anand has already mentioned, the right kind of people there. So when you seek something, others ask me, would you like to have some fun? Or I would like to say, no, he was not at all clear. And all while I'm thinking that I'm pretty clear about what I have given instructions to somebody or what I have dealt with. More importantly, resources. Don't start a company for the sake of asking money. Look at your customers. Make peace with yourself that yes, I need to work hard for 3 years. Then you don't have to look for money. Money comes in if you have your customers and when there is revenue floating with you. You need not be EBITDA positive. But if you have enough guts and gumption to go with feet on street and keep getting your customers and keep making some sort of a thing, meeting your OPEX and CAPEX budgets and still paying salaries in time, you're there. And if you look at yourself, when you do the big business as you start going ahead, people will realize, as well as you yourself will realize that technology component or the product or the service that you're developing is one part of the business and not the whole. So you should ask yourself, the closest person you're shadowing inside you, do I know finance? You better know finance. If you don't, you're undone in your business. Very critical point. Last, most of the times, very quickly any plant like palak that grows very fast comes to the table in 35 to 45 days, pretty fast. Because it's in a hurry to go. But a tree like a mango tree or a coconut tree or a bamboo tree takes its own sweet time and grows. So no root, no fruit. Big root, big fruit. This has been the mantra of my life too. Always dig deep, deep, deep and understand. This is the one that makes all the difference. So big root, big fruit. No root, no fruit. We'll just distribute something for the would-be entrepreneurs here. I got around 20 now too. They will distribute it.
Or you could keep it.
Yeah, they will pick it up in
10 minutes. So.
Yes.
Okay.
And there, a very inspiring quote by Mr. Roosevelt is there. And also how the nature goes there. The important thing is be with the nature, go with the nature. It helps you to build your own organization. Organization means people. People means emotions and feelings. Am I addressing all these together and making peace with myself? I'm at peace, I'm able to make my journey. I'm not at peace, I go all over the place. Trying to make peace with people. That doesn't work. This is my take on building relationships.
I think people are ready.